Thanks to Humblebee for requesting this video.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land I heard of once in a lullaby.
Reading, and not even plot related.
Jeremy, this text is literally thanking people and offering this film to them as a gift. Isn't that heartwarming at all? And technically the credits aren't plot related either.
Dorothy, please, we're trying to count.
Dorothy continually interrupts her aunt and uncle's chick counting despite being asked and told nicely not to. Dorothy is addicted to chicks.
That's probably because she's a literal child. She's upset at the way Toto was treated, and it feels like something has to be corrected.
Whoa, teenage Dorothy sounds like a 45-year-old when she sings.
Sinning somewhere over the rainbow, that's worth a few extra.
Well, that's for the sheriff to decide. Here's his order allowing me to take it.
How can you order the removal of a dog without any investigation into whether or not it was in fact the same dog that did the biting?
Now, I'm no expert on how this works, but after some Googling, I found that investigations like this weren't very common in the 1930s. If this movie came out today, though, yes, you'd have a point.
Here's what I'm taking him in.
This easily escapable basket is easily escapable.
No, Tom and Jerry helped him escape. See?
They'll be coming back for you in a minute. We've got to get away. We've got to run away.
Make sure you take the main roads then, and don't hide the dog even a little bit.
Why would she bother? I doubt Gulch would even realize Toto was missing for a while. Maybe not even until she gets to her destination. Dorothy still has some time before she comes back.
Toto is a dick to hobo mind readers.
As a dog owner myself, I can confirm this is 100% accurate.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
Luckily, Toto is Dorothy's inception totem.
Arbitrary Inception reference. Also, it's a bit difficult to see unless I slow down the footage, but there is a very brief frame that has no reason to be there.
Are you a good witch or a bad witch? Only bad witches are ugly.
Well, if that's true, then why do you even need to ask Dorothy if she's a good witch or a bad witch? She's clearly pretty, at least by 1930s standards.
I think she looks fine, but here's a not so fun fact. The filmmakers actually thought Judy Garland looked ugly.
When she was 13, she signed on with MGM, based solely on her vocal talent, because to MGM, it certainly wasn't for her looks. In the studio's eyes, Garland was their ugly duckling. During her first film, she was referred to as the fat little pig with pigtails. Louis B. Mayer called her the little hunchback and was especially concerned about her weight, giving direct orders that her diet consist of only chicken soup, black coffee, and cigarettes.
I thoroughly examined her.
What did you find during your thorough examination? That she had a house lodged in her abdomen?
That sounds like a good case of death to me.
Just follow the yellow brick road.
Yeah, thanks. Can I get one of those transporting bubbles too? Okay, bye. I definitely won't need your services ever again.
What even is the sin here? You're saying this as if you're a character within the film, but you're not. You're just yelling at the screen.
Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road.
Okay, I heard the witch and the other guy. And I'm on the yellow brick road already. How many reminders do I need?
Follow the yellow brick road.
Okay! Didn't you hear the guy who literally just left as you arrived?
Follow the yellow brick road.
Is following the yellow brick road complicated?
Okay, that's more literal than the last sin.
Bye, Dorothy. Be careful not to run into that painted background that's 10 feet away.
Sinning a film for being of its time. Next thing you'll tell me is that you'll send Tron CGI for looking rough.
Even if Dorothy and the Scarecrow managed to not see the witch hiding behind this tree 5 feet away, Toto should definitely have seen, heard, or smelled her. Toto should turn in his dog card.
I mean, the fact that the dog didn't notice kind of makes me think it's possible for them to miss stuff like this.
I'll show you how to get apples.
Well, yeah, but those apples are all bruised now.
Okay, so I don't want to use the whole "it's all a dream" excuse too often, but I'll use it this time. I mean, these apples are coming from talking trees with arms.
About a year ago, I was chopping that tree.
Also, these alive, apple-throwing trees are going to be really pissed now that Dorothy has awakened the shiny serial killer from his rusty slumber.
Then it's a good thing they walk away from this area after the Tin Man explains his motivation, isn't it?
The tinsmith forgot to give me a heart.
Fucking Geppetto. That guy forgets everything.
Arbitrary Pinocchio reference.
Why does the Wicked Witch only show up to scare Dorothy along the road? Instead of just, killing her or whatever?
Jeremy hasn't paid attention to one of the most culturally significant films in history. Elphaba wants the ruby slippers that are on Dorothy's feet, but she doesn't know that Glinda put an enchantment on them to prevent her from just taking them off. And yes, when she eventually finds out, she talks about killing Dorothy, but even then, she says herself that she has to do it in the right way, and she doesn't immediately know what that way is.
And then while the heroes are skipping through the scariest, darkest part of the forest, the witch just watches them in a crystal ball instead of, I don't know, killing her or whatever.
Maybe she could kill Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Lion, but she still wants Dorothy to give her the slippers.
Then she f***ing poisons them with sleeping potion. Sleeping potion! I mean, this is a witch who's clearly capable of creating fire out of thin air and throwing it at people, but she keeps going out of her way to not actually accomplish her goals of stealing back the slippers.
The sleeping potion would have worked if Glinda wasn't there to wake them up, just saying.
Now Dorothy is sleeping inside her own dream. Hopefully she doesn't go too much further and end up in limbo.
Another arbitrary Inception reference.
Oh, but don't worry, Dorothy's kick is a deus ex machina.
Hold on, didn't you earlier say that Dorothy wouldn't need her service after she told her to follow the yellow brick road?
Okay, bye. I definitely won't need your services ever again.
Isn't this her offering service?
Meanwhile, here's a really good witch that actually seems like kind of a dick, considering she could have told Dorothy about clicking your heels way back in Munchkinland and saved her all this trouble.
Glinda explains at the end why she didn't do that. She wanted Dorothy to come to the conclusion about why she wanted to go home on her own. She needed her to do it for the right reason, basically.
He's rusted again.
What? This Tin Man rusts in 5 seconds of light snowfall? That is definitely not tin if that's the case.
It wasn't just because of the snow. He was also crying because it seemed like Dorothy and Lion wouldn't be able to make it to the Emerald City.
Snow everywhere in this shot, but disappears in the next. I know, it's a dream. Whatever, right?
Dude, there's snow right there in this shot!
So Oz has stations already set up to pamper scarecrows, tin men, human girls, and lions, all right in a row?
No joke, I literally had a dream that an ambulance was around at the perfect moment that I needed it. My point is, dreams aren't realistic.
Get some care of those ruby slippers. I want those most.
All of these other flying monkeys apparently could read the Wicked Witch's mind and started flying before she gave any orders.
Or maybe they just happened to be flying around and Elphaba told them what to do. I can also buy the monkeys shared her orders.
Monkeys. I do not understand.
I do. I understood that reference.
Also, how many f***ing monkeys does it take to capture 4 people?
They only captured Dorothy. What do you mean, 4 people?
Also, if water is her weakness, how does she live? Are witches made entirely of carbon or something?
It's all a dream anyway. I don't think we're supposed to take this literally.
But they have one thing you haven't got, a testimonial.
A testimonial? You said the Scarecrow needed a diploma and you gave him a diploma. You said the Lion needed a medal and you gave him a medal. The Tin Man needs a testimonial and you give him a giant heart clock.
A testimonial is defined as a statement testifying one's character and qualifications. This clock does that for Tin Man, testifying that he has a heart.
And remember, my sentimental friend, that a heart is not judged by how much you love, but by how much you are loved by others.
Which is no one. You're a Tin Man who chops down trees. Not much conversation there.
Apparently, Dorothy, Scarecrow, Lion, and Toto don't count. I mean, when Dorothy leaves, she even cries saying goodbye to him.
Occurred. The balloon failed to return to the fair.
Oz's speech inspires uninspired Sam Raimi movie 74 years later.
Are we really blaming this movie for that? Should we now blame the original Star Wars trilogy for inspiring the sequel trilogy?
You don't need to be helped any longer. You've always had the power to go back to Kansas.
I have.
Then why didn't you tell her before?
Because she wouldn't have believed me.
I know Dorothy needed to learn a lesson, but oh my god, you whore. Wouldn't have believed you? That's the lamest excuse ever. Is there a house we can have land on you?
You literally said that she needed to learn a lesson. Glinda goes on to explain that after she says this. Why are we manipulating a scene from this classic?
I think I'll miss you most of all.
Did Dorothy and Scarecrow have some incredible history that we didn't get to see during the course of this movie that would lead to her missing him most of all?
Maybe the fact that Dorothy knew him longer than the other two?
Oh yeah, to all of you who think this was just a dream.
But it wasn't a dream. It was a place.
How else would she be able to explain it? That when she was in a fantasy world and was being chased by a witch? I have a feeling that'd be difficult and they'd still call it a dream anyway. Like me being popular on YouTube in any way, even if it's relatively small.
Look, the Wizard of Oz did the multiverse first, and they did it best. The gays knew it, but we didn't listen.